Oh no, wait, this video isn't about tea. This video is about a reflection of what I have done this year and what I'm hoping to do in the next year. So before I get started, I want to say happy holidays, and I hope you have been enjoying being with friends and family this year, and I hope next year, 2019, will be a blast for you. So I really hope things have been good for you and will stay good and will continue to be wonderful for you from here on out. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. The reflection of this past year. Oh, so last year I did not have the opportunity to do a reflection video because Benny had died. Again, this is not the first time my computer had crapped out on me and I had to recover data and all this stuff. Anyone who is a desktop user for years know this is the inevitable, and backing up is always an option if you aren't able to recover the data from the actual disk. I'm so lucky it was a logistic error this time around, and I was able to get the data through the back door. I was able to have my brother hook up to his computer as an port through his port, and it was able to like transfer some documents into a drive where I could just put it on the new Benny. So that didn't happen this year until my birthday. I was born in June, of all things. And I was able to get some videos up from then on. And I kept thinking to myself that, you know, this was it. I was not going to have a YouTube channel. I had blew my chance from having viewers look at it and such. But you guys came along, and I really appreciate you guys liking my videos, discussing things, and a couple of you shared it out, so I really appreciate the support that y'all gave me. So I want to say thank you. If I wasn't going to have any sort of numbers or any sort of watch time that was bigger from last year, I was just going to, you know, cut it. But I'm really glad that you guys really like what I have put up. So I hope to continue to do that. And I noticed that most of you really like watching the real talk that I did. And while I appreciate it, I probably won't do the another one like that, at least where I'm laying in the pillow like a zombie and like staring at the camera with no makeup and just real hair and all that. I think everyone on YouTube already had their say about the issues that have been going on in Tumblr and YouTube. And because that laundry has been aired, we're able to go ahead and get into the nitty-gritties of what needs to be done and what should be discussed and how we're going to fix it. Most of it's just being engaged with our community and trying to create safe spaces for everyone and trying to be authentic as possible in what we advise to be real and concrete advice, and not just paying lip service for advice that we considered fake, but we're just saying it just so we could get the likes. So I have not done that in my channel, and I hope I never have to do that. And to be honest, I will never will do that as far as I know of. I just can't. I can't get behind lying to someone just so you could get likes. I just really don't. I just can't. My integrity just won't allow it. I'm a Captain America's girl. And that's just not what Captain America wants me to do. So, there, I said it. from everyone watching that video, I realized that people really want to get into tough topics like diversity. What is it like for a writer who is part of that community, dealing with that community? And how does that affect my writing? What things I have to consider as I write? And also some new terms like queer coding, queer baiting, and all that. So I really want to discuss that more. And I'm not going to put it all in June, which is usually the month for the LGBTQ community. Because, you know, I'm always me every year. And I'm, you know, I'm not going to just put it on a month just because it's appropriate. I think it's okay to have it, you know, throughout the year. And in case there's other discussions that are tough or needed to be discussed, I'm not afraid to go ahead and discuss it on this channel. For the most part, I like discussion. This is kind of the 90s kid in me, where we all go onto the forums and just discuss because that's a form of entertainment. And I know there's like the flame wars and all this stuff and the trolls. You know, the trolls are going to be wherever you are. You know, it could be on YouTube, it could be on Twitter, or it could be in the forums. It really doesn't matter. They're just everywhere. But I really like discussions, and I really like, you know, talking about things. And I really want to do that. So in between educational videos, I want to put up kind of more discussion topics or broad topics that some writers do have to consider as they go about in their stories. And why sometimes, in the end of the day, it's just art. So that's that. The other thing I want to do on my channel is TBR. I have so many books I gotta read. So much books, so much time. I know this is a small pile, but I have so much going on in my life between my family and my writing. I only have a small pile to read, and I'm hoping I could get through them next year. I know so far this book I'm able to get through this month. I will talk a little bit more about this, but on my channel I really want to talk about books I like to read and what grabs my attention. But I'm not going to do reviews because one, I'm a writer. I'm going to be rubbing elbows with my peers who are other fellow writers, and I'm also going to be dealing with those agents who are associated with them and the publishing companies that are associated with them. So you're not going to have me flame bomb any book that I read just so I could get likes, or you know, flame bomb any book that I just really don't like reading. I'm just not going to do that. The reason why I want to talk about my reading list is to help push this misconception that only a genre writer reads only in that genre. And I do have a huge selection of fantasy. I'm not gonna lie. I have been consuming fantasy for most of my life, from D&D to books to, you know, movies. My parents have been into fantasy before I was born. So I'm kind of like a second generation Dungeons and Dragons player, I think. My parents and their friends have been doing it since they were kids, and I hope I could do that to my kids, you know, so that way they won't be able to spend on drugs or anything like that. But I also consume other things other than fantasy. And I love reading mystery. And I love looking at historical fiction and historical nonfiction. I love reading, oh God, classical lit. I like Edgar Allan Poe. I like some Greek classic, at least translated works. And in film, oh geez, usually it's action, but not always. So, in order to help push back this misconception that you have to read only in your genre, otherwise you're gonna fail, which, you know, it's bullshit, I have to just showcase what I am reading, what I have read, what I like it, what drew me into it, and kind of a showcase of my personality, more or less. And just to be fair, lit agents and editors have a very eclectic background. They love multiple genres beyond sci-fi slash fantasy. Some of them go into lit fic. Some of them go into like cookbooks, you know, so they're pretty spread out most of the time. And some of them are into your target romance, and some of them are into your cozy mysteries. So agents and editors also have a very diverse reading background, and the same thing goes for book reviewers. So I really don't understand why people are still advocating for this misconception, and so in my own small way, I'm going to go and push against that. Okay, so outside of YouTube, I've been doing Facebook and Instagram, and I want to thank everyone who has been following me on Facebook and Instagram, especially those who liked the poem story I did during October. That one, if you haven't checked it out, is about a Grim Reaper trying to save a bunch of bottled souls from a very gluttonous demon. So I put that up there on Instagram. It was a challenge I did to myself because I thought, why not? You know, I could do poems. So I just did a poem per day and tried to keep it in a different style per day, just to see if I could do it. And I was able to do it at the end of that month. So I appreciate everyone who liked reading those, and I want to say thank you. It was fun doing it, and it was fun to see everyone's reactions. My mom was one of those who liked reading it, and she said it was very much like the radio episodes that she used to listen to when she was a kid. So I really appreciate that compliment. I don't think I'll be able to do that again. And I had some time to think about what I'm going to do with that small collection of poems. Whenever I have the funds, I was thinking of doing a small self-publishing on that story. Because technically Instagram is considered published work. To put it out there on Instagram, it's already published. That's it, that's done. So what I'm going to do is to gather the poems I had and determine whether I'm going to have it in one style or to have it in the different styles that I put out there. And once I figured out what I'm going to do with them and edit them as I like, I probably will hunt down an editor who does poems and see what they think. You know, just pick their noodle. And of course pay their services. And if everything's all okie dokie, I probably will self-publish. I I don't expect a lot of money, but I just want it out there for a larger audience other than Instagram. And I really don't want people to just go through so many photos just to get to the very beginning of the poem. So this is more or less convenience and just making it available for almost everyone. Another thing that I have on my plate is the Writer's Digest contest. They did a flash fiction competition and I had a couple of entries in there. So I'm hoping that I'll be in the top 25. I think they are doing 25 selections only. So I'm hoping at least one of them makes it. I really don't know. They're very, very tiny stories. One is like 14 words and the other is like 150. It's well under the requirements, but they're stories in my eyes. So I hope they like it. Of course, you know, the best of the best always wins. So if anyone is better than what I've done, that's okay. So, but I'm hoping, you know, that something nice will come from it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. See what happens. And if those don't make it through, there are a couple of local magazines that I would like to go to kind of disperse it out to my community here. And hopefully they like that, those little poems. Well, they're not poems, they're stories. So that's kind of what is going on in the back burner. The Doppelganger Queen is still being queried. Querying takes a really long time. It requires persistence and determination to continue to go through all the rejections. I forgot how many rejections I have. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I am the weird author that collects rejections. So most of them are email, so I print them out here. It's a very small rejection list. It would get a little bit bigger as I continue this process. I'm not even a third through my list. It's been slow going because I've been doing very small batches, and it's also the holidays. The next batch I want to do is going to be in January. But there are still a couple of agents that have yet to time out. And there's one agent that's still going through their mailing list. So that one agent is a yes or no, I'm still going to reply kind of agent. So I'm still waiting on them. But I have, oh, let's see. 1, 2. This one's really nice. I actually had to do in mail for one of them, and they had a really nice paper came back to me, so kind of like it. So far, 5 went ahead and came back to me. There's 4 that timed out that didn't reply back, so I'm assuming they said no. So about 9 so far. That's not much. So I expect a lot more for the Doppelganger Queen. But it only takes one agent to say yes. So I'm not at all put out that I have rejections. So I probably could talk more about querying, how to go about it, etc. But I probably should do it when I actually do have an agent, so that way I know which one works, how it works, what doesn't. But I could talk about the ongoing process of querying, if that's what you like. So let me know down below what you think. So Yeah, the Doppelganger Queen is still going its querying process. I started it in the middle of August. Um, After, editing for the beta readers like you, so thank you. Um, Thank you for beta reading for me. Thank you for giving me your feedback. I was able to do all the editing I needed to do, and I went ahead and sent it to the agent so far. One was able to do a constructive feedback, so I edited to that feedback, and sadly, it's a constructive feedback that was still a rejection, so I'm not able to go back to them. So that's just how it is. But they were very kind to let me know why it didn't grab their attention, so I was able to work on it. Beginning's always the hardest to pull off. It always is. So while I'm doing querying, while I'm going through the Doppelganger Queen, I'm still working on the House of Seven Sons. The House of Seven Sons is a YA. I normally don't read YA, but this one is feeling like a YA, kind of Doctor Who-ish, kind of celestial mythicism, kind of fantasy. I never have read that type of stuff, and it's so fun to write it. It's so freeing, and I really want to see where it takes me. And I have no clue how many books it will start off. I know this is the beginning, and I know I have so many more books to do with this, but I don't know how many. So it's not like the Doppelganger Queen. The Doppelganger Queen, I have a pretty good arc. I know how it starts, what the middle is, and how it's going to end. But the House of Seven Sons, I have no clue. I have no clue. Even in the middle of writing this, I barely have some expectations. And I'm not sure I'm ever going to get to them. But as a pantser, that's the whole point, is discovering the story as you go. So I don't mind that all too much. The House of Seven Sons has been 20,000 words so far, so that is about either a fifth or a quarter of the story, depending how one does structure. I really don't know the structure of this book. I think this is going to be the same YA length as most other YAs are. Even though it's fantasy, I think this is going to be in the 70,000 mark. Oh geez. I know that I want to get this done sometime next year. When? I have no clue. The way things are at this point, I may be able to do that. I may just be able to just keep on querying for most of the year and be able to finish up the House of Seven Sons while I'm still doing YouTube content and Instagram. I enjoy the House of Seven Sons. It's a totally different vibe from the Doppelganger Queen. The Doppelganger Queen had a very moody, grim kind of feel to it, and this one was very light and airy and so much fun. Now, concerning about Facebook, I know I've been so inactive on Facebook, and I know there's a lot of people getting onto Facebook and looking at my profile lately and are wondering why I'm so inactive. And the reason why is because of Facebook's algorithms. I think it really just kicked in during June. And when I was doing the blog post about being a demisexual, what it's like as a writer, demisexual and dealing with diversity, I did a 3-4 blog series about that. And for some reason, but the algorithms just couldn't get through. And this is a similar issue that some had experienced on YouTube, where they're sort of censored, or the tags were not working, or, something like that. But Facebook is sort of different. The algorithms wasn't against diversity, more or less. Theirs was dealing with the ongoing issue about what Russia had done with our elections. And how they had influenced the general populace through, Facebook false monikers. And in order to abide by what, the Senate has been saying, and the international conferences, they have to change up how they have been doing things. And that also means that anyone's Facebook page, unless there has been great activity and there's have been active participation on the page, you're not really going to get seen. And I really didn't have active participation. It was just kind of like a bloggy kind of place to have. And I copied and pasted everything over to my website. My website is still upgoing. So since I have my website kind of like the hub of my YouTube, my Instagram, and what I've done on Facebook, I'm not all too concerned about possibly deleting my Facebook down the road and just leave it as is. But what I will do is put a link on my Facebook for the last post, and well, I guess this is a good time to do my announcement. So next year I'm going to be on Twitter. I don't like Twitter because of the crap that has been going on, how people really demonize other people, and I don't like how it's just not a safe community to be in. I really don't care for it. But at the same time, I really miss the connection I have with people who were following me on Facebook. And most of these people that were on Facebook are also on Twitter. So what I'm going to do on Twitter is just simply little tiny, snippets of, oh, what killed another character today, fa la la la, evil writer, mwahaha, stuff like that. I kind of miss doing that on Facebook. And I kind of want to do that. So next year, I'm going to be on Twitter and just having those up there, kind of showcasing, what I'm going through as I write, as I'm researching, all the fun things I'm going through and all the frustrating things that I have to deal with. I don't know if I'm ever going to extend it to Q&A on Twitter. I know a lot of people have been doing that, so, but I probably would do that for my birthday, do a birthday Q&A. I'll probably will also use Twitter as the quick update announcement stuff, or any news updates, in case something happens. That's where I probably will go. So yeah, I want to do that. I would never will use Twitter for political stuff. I am fairly political, but I'm keeping that with just my normal Facebook profile with just my friends and family. But with this Twitter, at least you guys can see my normal public stuff, my normal writing process, the stuff I like, the stuff I don't like, about the writing process, and just so you can kind of see, behind the curtain, how it goes. And now my TBR. So I had my friend, she goes by Sinai Wolf. Sinai Wolf gave me a list of books for me to read. She went over to my house, looked at my bookcase, and went, no, insufficient. So she gave me some recommendations that she wants me to read. And so that way I could be as addicted as these things as her. So I already went through the 2 Conan books that she loaned to me. I really love them. I really love what he has done in the early years and how he has blossomed as an author. And I like, how he had developed as an author. So I already read those. I really enjoyed them. It is showcasing, of his time. There were some things that were a little bit problematic that would be for today. So if it was ever come out today, it would not be well received. It got to a point where, I just skipped to the next story. So just take it a grain of salt that this is a person back in the past, and this is kind of the mindset they used to have. What I'm currently going through right now is this little mystery book. She heard that I like mysteries, so she gave me some short stories for me to read. They're like dastardly little detective stories, and I've only been through this much, so I have quite a ways to go. I probably have I'm not even a third through, so I have some ways to go. And speaking of which, she gave me some Lovecraft. I have a couple Lovecraft books. They're paperback. This one is the, let's see, where did it came from? This is the Library of Congress one. Yeah, Library America print of H.P. Lovecraft tales. And they put this together, let's see. Oh yeah, 2005. So more or less like a library book collection of his tales. And I probably will see if some of those I have on my bookshelf also appear here, and dive into that. And this one she also let me borrow is the Dream Cycle of H.P. Lovecraft. This is his nightmares that he had experienced, that he had put down and have never published. And they found these out when he had passed away. From what I gathered, I could be wrong. But yeah, I think they have The Dream That Came to Sarnath, The Nameless City, The Cats of Ulthar, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. So all that stuff. And also include The Strange High House in the Mist. So all sorts of dreams and nightmares and unexplainable things that had terrorized the poor man, that he was able to write down and get it out of his system, and never really got around to publish them. And until now. Now here's another one. Last on the list is the Stephen King Night Shift. Oh gosh, I'm breaking the spine. Yeah. Night Shift. I'm very picky when it comes to the Stephen King novels that I have to read. I like Stephen King as an author. I think he's great at what he does. I think he's an inspiration in how he's able to turn out so many horror stories in such a short amount of time, and how he has been so successful and how he really stayed true to his works. But I have difficulty finding one that I like to read. I mean, I tried to read the Dark Tower series, and I don't know, it didn't really grab me. And I tried reading, I think it was Stephen King's It. I tried reading that, and for some reason, I fell out of that one too. So I really don't know if this is going to help me keep it in. I really don't know what it is that really makes me no, I just don't feel like reading it anymore. Maybe I just have a different taste than the audience that really likes his works. So, so she recommended me this. I have no clue what the synopsis is. I don't think it's in here. She gave it to me without its dust cover, so I have to discover the story for myself. In fact, it said other books, Carrie, Salem's Lot, and The Shining. Now, I've seen the movie The Shining, and I had to watch it in my film class, so that was good. I like that. I don't mind reading The Shining. I know that there are some parts that are a little bit different from the film, which is okay. But I think they have the same general gist. But I don't know. I don't know when I will get around to this. Hopefully before she comes back. I'm such a slow reader. But yeah, we'll see how that works. But I got my... I'm such a horrible person. I put everything else on the side as soon as this came in the door. I'm so horrible. The Book of the Month Club is another book subscription online thing. They set up a selection of books for you to pick from, and you pick the one that you like. They send it over to you. You have a subscription fee. You can skip any month that you like if you want to skip a month. Or you can unsubscribe if you so wish. It's really easy to resubscribe. They're not going to hate you so long, you actually pay the fee. So I think the fee is like $30. I could be wrong. This is at all, not at all a subscription or a sponsor. But I've been looking at the Book of the Month Club for this whole year. I've been really wanting to try them, and I just never had the funds to get into it. And they had a season special, so I bought myself a Christmas gift. And it's really gorgeous on the cover, and it has a library bounding on it. It's so cute. And this one was in their August 2016 collection. So, and I think that's when they publish it too. Yeah, 2016. It is a mystery. It is a, I want to say it's a psychological thriller, but it's more or less a psychological mystery. It's one of those books that kind of mix the genre a little bit. But it's really, really, really good. It's a mixture of Agatha Christie's Orient Express, and it's it's also dealing with an unreliable narrative where the main protagonist may not be a little bit unhinged. And it's just a really good read. The character I can relate to because I am a 32-year-old woman trying to get by in life, and crap had happened. So I totally get the main protagonist. But it's a really good read. I have been working on it, as you could tell. I had been almost there. I'm at the third act of this book. I really, really loved it. I've been going through it for the past few days. So, this is a New York Times bestseller. She's from Sussex. I think she's from Sussex. Yeah, Sussex, England. The Penguin House, I think it's Penguin House, did a collaboration with her publishing company. So that way they could have it over here. And some sort of collaboration with the Book of the Month Club. So this is a very beautiful cover. I really don't know if you're going to have other covers outside of the Book of the Month, but this is really, really good. I really like it. Kind of getting seasick. So that's my reading list that I'm going to have for not only this month and next year. And the reason why it's such a small list is because, 1, I'm writing, 2, I'm querying, 3, I am doing social media stuff. So I have such a small list to read through, but I am going through it and I'm going to enjoy it. So yeah, that's my video. That's kind of my long rambling video of what I have done and what I'm hoping to do. And I really, really hope that you had a wonderful holiday this year, and I really hope that you have a wonderful new year. And I'll see you on the flip side. Bye!